Leviticus 6 continues with directions for offerings and repayments for those who have sinned and realize their guilt. These people doing things which are obviously wrong, like robbing someone, and then realizing their guilt and coming with a sacrifice, makes me think of the prodigal son. He was obviously wrong, but then he comes to his senses. How is it we lose ourselves, lose our minds, and do something wrong, and have to be brought to our senses and admit our guilt and confess and make restitution? Verse 2 in this chapter calls it a breach of faith against the Lord. In other translations, it is described as acting unfaithfully. A breach is a breaking. A breach of faith is breaking faith with God. Acting unfaithfully towards God, our love, is committing adultery. That's what sin is. It's abandoning faith. It's turning your back on Him to love someone or something else. We have to realize this is how serious sin is. Sin is bad. Jesus didn't give up His life daily for us to the point of dying, bearing our sin, so that we could sin and satisfy the flesh and get away with it. The wages of sin is death. If we sin, it's like paying for a ticket to watch Jesus die. To choose sin is to choose death. To choose sin is to reject the fear of the Lord. To choose sin is to deny His power to save us out of sin. And yet the Good Shepherd goes after the one who's gone astray. He lets His discipline come down out of His kindness, compassion, and love, so that we can come to our senses and turn back to Him. He sends warnings and prophets and teachers to point us to His word of truth that will set us free. He so loved the world that He gave His only Son, not that everyone who sins would be forgiven and get a pass to heaven, but so that those who believed in Him would have everlasting life. Everlasting life starts now. It starts when we're transferred out of Satan's kingdom into God's kingdom. Life starts when we embrace our freedom from sin in forgiveness and in Holy Spirit power to overcome.